No, it's when you sit on it until your hand goes down.
I like big toughness and I cannot lie. This other guy can't deny that when Doran walks in with his itty bitty power and a bunch of walls in your face, he gets sprung. Can't get through this tough because notice his general is stuffed. Deep in the deck I'm playing, I'm hooked and I can't stop slaying. Oh Adam, I want a podcast with you and take our picture. The other players tried to warn me, but that equipment you got me, Manriki Gusari.
What was the last part?
Manriki Gusari. That's supposed to be me so horny.
Okay, nice. One thing, I don't think you're a rapper by trait.
No, yeah, I stumbled there a bit. I should have practiced more.
That was good though. You called it for me earlier. I got it right away.
Right away.
I was obsessed with that song back in the day. My aunt showed me that, and I was like, "Oh my god, can I borrow that CD?"
Well, who is it?
It's Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like big butts.
Yes. Okay. And I was playing that in with the toughness of big butts of Doran and walls and stuff like that.
Nice. So. Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths. I messed that up again. I'm Lowery Smith.
We're just going to call you Commander Smith from now on. Is that? I'm Adam Smith. Cousins?
And yes.
Very much so.
This is episode 18.
Episode 18. Man, it's going quick.
Yeah.
You can catch us on Twitter at CommanderSmiths.
And then you can also email us at commandersmiths@gmail.com.
And then also you can check out our YouTube channel. We did post last week the Dueling boxes number 3. Woo!
Got it
victorious! Right. That was an awesome...
it was a really cool box.
Yeah,
Battlebond was really awesome to open.
It was cool to actually have us both have pretty damn good boxes. And
it just feeling guilty about the last two.
Well, I said it during that video too. I was
Yeah.
like, I just want us both to have a good box, and it was cool because you had the lead. Like as I was editing that video, I was like, damn, you had at least at one point you had I think a $50 lead on me, and then for the most part it was $20, and then it was actually 2 packs to go. I jumped just a little bit ahead of you, and then boom. The double diabolic intent with the foil and non-foil.
It was awesome.
But I think the best part about that box opening was the doubling season.
Yeah, that was really cool to just like have it happen.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, look what I got, and you're like, boom,
got it as well.
Just when I was like, I'm gonna pull ahead now, and then nope.
You all of a sudden turn into a kid. I'm gonna turn ahead and get ahead.
Yay! No, that was fun though. Pretty good cards out of that. We value wise, very good.
And if you watch it, we hope that you enjoy it as much as we did, even though you don't get the cards at all. We do. So, but today we plan on talking about some spoilers from the Core Set 2019 coming out.
3 segments here. Yeah, the spoilers, and then Commander Spotlight. Lowery's peed on commanders. What are they?
Yeah, it's I should probably read them because I only know them by their nicknames, but Krav the Unredeemed and Regna the Redeemer.
So we got Lowery's deck tech on that. I actually just finished my deck tech, the peed on commanders.
Well, you just finished putting it together.
Yeah. So I ordered all the cards that I wanted for that, and then we actually have to sit down and figure out a time we're going to play these. Yeah. But we'll be doing that deck tech next week, and that's the coin flipping commanders. So, and then we finish off this episode like we always do. Smith specs of the week.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't we start off? I didn't think we were going to get spoilers this early. Doesn't it seem like it's a little early?
It seems a little early.
Battlebond just came out. I know this is our subset
last week. Yeah.
But it came out, and then it was this next week after it comes out, you have spoilers coming out. Now,
and I'll be honest, up until yesterday, which is Saturday, I was like, this set looks awful.
What made you change your mind until yesterday? What was the
Nicol? He looks amazing.
But isn't that one of the commander ones though? Or not commander, the planeswalker?
No.
I thought that was one of them. Anyways, we'll dive right into this. Why don't we just start it off with Nicol right off the bat?
Okay, so this is it's a juicy one. Nicol the Ravager. He's 1 colorless, a blue, a black, and a red. He's a 4/4 flyer.
Elder Dragon.
When he enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and then at sorcery speed, you can pay 4 colorless, a blue, black, and red, and transform him into a planeswalker.
Yeah, that's
which is
pretty
awesome.
crazy.
It kind of like shows the transition of badass Elder Dragon into a planeswalker. And so it starts out with 7 loyalty. You +2 him to draw 2 cards. You -3 to deal 10 damage to a creature or a planeswalker. You -4 it to return a creature or a planeswalker from a graveyard. And then you can -17 it to exile all cards from a library but the bottom.
But the bottom, that's ridiculous.
It's like, I'm going to ultimate and maybe kill you.
And it has the effect of doubling season, being able to double that. You know, like it happened ultimate right away. You know what I'm saying? Because it has
12.
7
it's
and
12.
12.
I said -17.
Oh yeah,
I think, but it's -12.
-12 to do that. So you
Again,
can.
I'm blind as a bat.
Yeah.
I can't read off this.
And my
screen half the
computer
time.
is it's a little dim, so it doesn't help
It's
that.
a dumb computer.
It's a yeah.
dim.
Good,
dim as a bat.
well played, Lowery. But yeah, so that's one of the ones that they kind of released on Friday, late Friday.
Was it late Friday?
Yeah.
I saw it Saturday. So
or maybe it was Saturday. I don't know. It released it this
Yeah.
weekend. But what they're releasing in this, which is very different than all the other sets, is normally they have a Planeswalker deck.
they normally have 2.
Yeah, 2 Planeswalker decks.
Now they're having like 5.
Like one for each color. So you have. Well, I'll go to the next card. We got our Ajani Planeswalkers. I'll read one first.
You got-
Ajani Wise Counselor.
Yeah, this is the Planeswalker deck.
Planeswalker one. And this is 3 and 2 white, comes in with 5 loyalty. +2 is gain 1 life for each creature you control. -3 creatures you control get 2/2 until end of turn. And then -9 put X/1/1 counters on target creature where X is your life total. So instead of like, was it the old Ajani that you made a token that was that, you get to actually put this on a creature that is existing. You know, there was a
that's
token
kind
that
of a
was
cool
the
idea.
same
Yeah, I didn't
power.
even think about that.
But that one would go down with your life, didn't it?
It was power toughness
equal to your life
total.
So this, you're just pumping up a creature, and it stays that way even if your life goes down or up. So interesting. Why don't you go to the next?
And so the reason why I know that one is the Planeswalker deck one, because it's clearly worse than Ajani, Adversary of Tyrants, which is really good. 2 colorless, 2 white. Comes in with 4 loyalty.
I like loyalty.
Yeah, he's a
more.
lawyer. He's he's all about the rules. Yeah. And so you can +1 to put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures.
Oh, no, I just moved the
Yeah,
screen
you're
on
moving the
Larry.
screen.
There you go. I'm trying to make it bigger for you. There you go.
Appreciate it. So you can -2 it to return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
I like that part.
Which is, I think, really awesome. Yeah. And then you can -7 him. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, create 3/1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink.
That's I don't like its ultimate as much. It's still good, but I like that -2 ability is pretty sweet. Even the +1 is pretty decent on that guy, and he's only 4 to come out. So that's pretty nice.
4 to come out. I think it's really good value. Like the counters are to stay with the +1 ability. I think this was actually built to be potentially a modern playable card because of the return a creature with converted mana cost 2 or less. That gives you some like late game value with your 4 Planeswalker. And I really do think like that ultimate is really hard to outvalue because it's you at the end of that turn
getting
when you
3/1/1
get the 3/1/1
lifelinks. Yeah.
So they can be chump blockers, they can be.
But it's like you always say when I'm playing, if you do the ultimate and don't win the game, you did something wrong.
That's true.
I don't know if we've told this story before,
I
but
think this is
Larry, we were playing.
This is where the term "I'm drunk" comes from.
Yeah, because we were playing a game and I think I was playing. Was I playing my Planeswalker deck? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had ultimated, and then I wasn't winning, or I was about to lose, one of the two. I lost, is what happened. And Larry comes in. He had been drinking, and he's like, "You ultimated and you didn't win the game. You suck."
Yeah.
And then it was like the next game or the next day, you ultimated and then didn't win the game. It was like
I was way behind in that one though.
Oh, and I wasn't. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
you had a Planeswalker deck.
Yeah, so that's where I was looking at it. I was like, well, you can't. It isn't like I'm going to win the game, but it is very good value for that.
I'm a douche.
Yeah.
When at that point, that was pretty bad.
All right, next card is actually a pretty sweet card. I like it. It's a big mana cost though, but it's Nexus of Fate, and this is 5 and 2 blue. It's an instant. That's probably one of the cool things about this card. But it's take an extra turn after this one. That would be so-so if that was all that it did, but it said if it's put into the graveyard from anywhere, so if somebody makes you discard it or flip it off the top of your library, you shuffle it, you reveal it, and then shuffle it into your library instead. So this never goes to the graveyard.
I'm glad that you like it. I'm pretty meh on 7 mana to take an extra turn.
It's an instant, which I like about it.
Sure, like,
but when would you use an instant? Well, I guess you could use it in between.
If you're starting to get picked on, like if it's like 3 players in a row and they're like, you know what, let's gang up on this guy. Like in the middle of them, you could cast it and take an extra turn in between their turns. That's probably the only.
Is this
bonus.
Our first instant extra turn though?
Probably.
Because I can't think of any others. If anybody else thinks that, well, we can look it up easily after we're done with the podcast.
I'm pretty sure it's just a sorcery speed ability.
So that's what I thought was very interesting about it. It's really high casting cost, don't get me wrong, but interesting that it's an instant. Like you just said, taking a turn in the middle of somebody else, like, in order, if you jump in the middle of that. So
I don't know if I'm really pleased. Like, I understand maybe why they were trying to change up for, like, we're gonna shuffle this into your library. It kind of stops you from mill.
Yeah,
like if you're
but again, it doesn't shuffle your graveyard in, which would have been cool.
Card.
Yeah, I was at first when I read it, I was texting with you. I was like, oh, it's like we have we have another Emrakul, and then my next text was, except it doesn't shuffle your graveyard. It's just itself. Never mind.
So it still kind of helps you from like being totally milled until you can maybe draw it at the.
Well, we know how that is when it comes down to the last card. As long as you have a card there, you can win in Battlebond.
But if it's the last card and then you cast it
and then you
to
take
another turn, you die.
No, but
I'm not sure if that's really amazing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to make reference to our Battlebond experience where we just needed to have me not draw nothing to win that game. Anyways, why don't you move on to our next Planeswalker?
Tezzeret, Cruel Machinist?
I think this
Mechanist? It's Machinist.
Machinist, yeah. This one seems like it. Is this a Planeswalker
deck one? I believe so.
With the casting cost, it almost seems like
that's what it. Basically, if it feels over
really high,
too high, then
this
it is
6. So
it's 4 colorless, 2 blue for Tezzeret, and he comes in with 4 loyalty. You can +1.
L'Oreal.
They're all lawyers. They're badasses, and Nicol Bolas is going to be the judge, jury, and executioner of all of them.
I like how they're kind of setting this up to go into the after this set. I think. Well, never mind. You just go ahead with the card.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay,
it might be the end of Nicol Bolas when we get into return to Ravnica.
You can 0 him, and then until your next turn, target artifact you control becomes a 5/5 creature in addition to its other types. And then you can -7 Tezzeret to put any number of cards from your hand into the battlefield face down. They are 5/5 artifact creatures. Again, drawing like if I'm going to pay 6 and then +1 3 times in a row to draw 3 cards, and then you -7, like I might be out of cards at that point, even if I'm drawing those extra 1 card. Like, I think it's bad.
It's a Planeswalker.
I'm pretty critical on these ones.
Let's move on to the next one. Liliana the Necromancer, 3 and 2 black. This comes in with 4 loyalty. +1 is target player loses 2 life. That's whatever.
Again, yeah.
-1 is return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. That's meh. That's just to your hand. It'd be nice if it went to play. And then our -7 ultimate, destroy up to 2 target creatures. Put up to 2 target creature cards from graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. So kill 2 creatures, you can take them.
That can be kind of cool. I guess my problem with these, like the Planeswalker deck cards, are that they're higher casting costs, and I'm okay with that if you
there
up
were
the
better cards
if you put
or
up
better
the
abilities. Yeah.
I wouldn't play this at 4 mana,
Yeah, I know.
much less 5.
Well,
this is maybe a 3 mana planeswalker,
Yeah.
but there's already
And then
2
that's still not-
much better
yeah,
Lilianas
it's still not
at
usable
3.
at that point. Yeah, it's just like
It's kind of like, why are you making these cards? Who are you making them for? Like,
well,
other than
it's
just
almost-
bad players.
I was gonna say it's almost like
Not
beginner.
saying you're a bad player if you use them.
Yeah,
you might be smarter than me, and that's fine. I'm sure that happens.
But no, I agree. It's more of like, well, because that's how it's at the box stores, so it's pre-made so that, these newer players that can just pick it up and play.
So what they're doing is they're taking advantage of, like, parents that are buying these random cards for their children, and then the children get them and cry because they know they're bad. That's how I see this happening.
Well, it kind of sucks that, well, I guess I'm glad we don't open these in packs. I was going to say, it sucks that we don't get the ability of getting these, but then it's like, I would be really mad if this was my mythic that I'm drawing or opening in a pack, because it's not really worth much.
So I'm glad that I can't get these bad mythics. You can get other bad mythics. That's fine too.
So the next one is Sarkon.
You're gonna do 2 in a row?
Oh, did I do Lily?
You just
I
did.
did. Gosh, I'm a douchebag.
Out of turn. I still want to complain. This is my turn.
Okay, go ahead. I think Liliana is part of the Planeswalker. I think this Sarkon is also, and then I think our second Vivian is our other one. Okay, go ahead.
So Sarkon Dragon Soul, because he is obsessed
with dragons.
Dragons, I swear.
That looks like my face on there.
Because you're obsessed with dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to figure out how to fit Adam into the name Sarkon.
Adam can Dragon Soul.
Bumpkin. Okay. 4 colorless, 2 red, 5 loyalty. You can +2 Sarkon, and he deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature your opponents control.
So it's a Goblin Chain
Whirler.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of true. Yeah.
Except it doesn't hit Planeswalkers, whereas that one does. But does everything else.
And Chain Whirler is tearing up standard right now.
Anyways.
Okay, so you can -3 Sarkon, and it deals 4 damage to target player or Planeswalker.
Not a creature. That'd be a little better. But anyways.
And then you can -9 it to search your library for any number of dragon creature cards, put them into play, shuffle your library.
That part's pretty sweet.
That's pretty sweet. But I'm pretty damn sure he has an ultimate that's already like this.
Yeah,
I just forgot to look it up. I am pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I want to say that
you just
if he
keep
has 5
talking,
of them,
and I'm gonna look this up.
I'm
while
pretty
you're
sure
talking.
if he has 5 of them, 3 of them are to go search for every dragon and put them into play. Like, why don't they just call him Sarkon Dragonstorm and be able to go and I think it's Unbroken.
Is that Unbroken?
Yeah.
Let's see. Unbroken. Search your library for any number of dragons and put them onto the. It's the exact same.
Yeah.
Except this has 3 colors with it. The other one's just red.
I don't know if that makes it better.
Well, I would
say.
That is funny that its ultimate is, and this is one more -9, whereas the old one Unbroken is -8.
Oh, so it's a little. They made it a little different. That's kind of nice. He's becoming less powerful.
They made it so that if you doubling seasoned him out, that he wouldn't die to his ultimate.
Oh, that was really nice of Wizards to do that.
But then they made his casting cost 1 more also. Okay.
Yeah. But 3 colors versus 1. I don't know why you're doing this.
It's making your voice crack. That's why it's doing.
It's sad. It's actually, I don't mind this card. I think it does more than the others that we've talked about that are Planeswalker.
Well, its
cards.
ultimate is very, very ultimate. You know, but we've you
better
we've
win the
seen
game.
it before.
If you don't win the game with this one, you're dead.
Unless you're only playing with 1 dragon, and you're dead, then it's like, what?
Why would you do that?
Because I like him. He's a dragon soul. I don't know. All right, Vivian. I wanted to say the Reed. Vivian Reed. This is our new Planeswalker, which is pretty sweet, and we actually have 2 copies of her. This one, this one will be the regular. Don't you think?
That's the regular, I believe.
Yeah. So this is 3 and 2 green. She comes in with 5 loyalty. Oh man, and this is far away for me to read. It says, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or a land card from among them. And what does it say there? Put that into your hand. Put the others on the bottom of your library in a random order.
And I'm pretty sure this is an Ajani ability when he was white green from Theros.
You're gonna make me want to.
No. It's just keep going. I'm pretty sure they're just.
And that was
the scary part. I think they're running out of ideas.
And that was a +1, so that's a pretty sweet +1 ability. And then -3 is destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature
with flying. Now they just printed a card exactly like this in Battlebond.
Oh,
it's a 4-mana instant that
yeah.
does it, and you're like, I've never seen that happen, and they're like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, okay, I guess that's a credible thing to be doing.
And then the ultimate is -8. You get an emblem. Creatures you control get 2/2 and have vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So that's pretty sweet. That's pretty solid right there.
That's game ending.
I like all three are very different abilities. You have a little bit of removal with its second. I like planeswalkers that do that. Like when you have what's her name, the one that makes your Land of War elves, the one that you can actually make.
Freyalise.
Yeah, and then the other one that has destroy enchantments and all that.
I guess the thing is that Freyalise is at 5 mana as well, and just better.
Yeah, but this does get you to filter through your top of your library to get land and or a creature. So
if that's
dig
what you're
it.
Going for.
I dig it. I can see.
Did you purposely mean to make a pun? Because that is considered digging when you're looking through.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Cool.
Well, why don't you go to our other? You're drunk.
I'm all right with that. You want to get me the bottle opener?
I actually purposely was like, I got to call him drunk early so we can actually have some of this beer.
Yeah. I'm excited about this one. It's very tasty. So this is a Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Blackberry Porter. That's a lot of names and stuff like that.
And stuff like that. Stuff and things.
It's
Now, we're not going to share because as you guys heard from my 2 episodes ago, my kids had the flu bug. Well, I got it this weekend. So Father's Day. Oh, by the way, happy first Father's Day, Lowery.
Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day to you as well.
Thank you. This is Lowery's first Father's Day with his little guy.
Yeah.
Little Lau.
And I've ignored you for the last 3 because I have no idea about any of this stuff.
That is good. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being drunk.
Yeah, it's tasty.
But anyways, I caught the Montezuma's Revenge on Friday night. I woke up at 3 and didn't do too well. Probably lost about 10 pounds overnight. So it caught me. It took 2 weeks after they had it for me to get it, but I got it.
I'm gonna go home and shower again.
Yeah, Larry's like, don't touch me.
Just dodging bullets.
Yeah. So I had everything ready again for him, so you could just come in and not touch anything, and let's share a beer bottle together.
No,
I'm just kidding.
You're gross.
All right, let's move on to our second Vivian, the Planeswalker
of the Arc Bow. This is probably the Planeswalker deck one. 4 colorless, 2 green, 5 loyalty for +2. Put 2 1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature. So kind of similar to Ajani in the same set. You can -3 her. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So
it's kind of like fighting, but you're not getting fighting.
It's a one-sided fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one-sided.
It's Mike Tyson versus
Joe Glass. What's from Punch Out?
Glass.
Isn't that what his name is? Isn't it Joe Glass?
From Mike Tyson's Punch Out? I gotcha. Yeah. I was gonna say Evander Holyfield's ear, but
oh, nice.
And then you can. So that's kind of a cool ability. I'm fine with that. And then you can -9 her creatures you control get +4/+4 and gain trample until end of turn.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's really bad
for a mind. Okay, I can see you not winning the game after. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing a commander game, you kill one person, but then you don't have the ultimate anymore. Like,
yeah, I mean,
garbage.
Think about like Garruk Wildspeaker. You +1 them, so it's turn 4. You play them, untap 2 lands. Next turn, you minus them to kill them and give all your creatures +3/+3 and trample. Mm-hmm. And you're wiping one player out, like on turn 6, and on turn 5.
Yeah, and this is wanting you to get wait, we got +2, so you got to get
+2 to You got to put 2 1/1 counters, but then you get to fight that creature, kind of half fight with another one.
Well, you get minus if you do the
I'd
fighting.
probably just do like Death Touch with that and just like kill whatever creature.
Yeah, no, I think it's It's a Planeswalker
It's
deck.
bad. Do you guys understand why I was not excited for this? Like, all of these were showing up, and I'm like, these are bad.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about buying a box and doing dueling boxes with this. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not excited about a lot of these cards.
Every time I was like, hey, spoilers, you're like, ugh, garbage. Ugh. And then you text me and you're like, oh, Nicol Bolas. I was like, yeah, I was going to text you, but I was on the toilet, so I just didn't feel like doing anything because it was 3 o'clock in the morning. So, so it must have been Friday night because that's when I saw it when I was on the toilet. Anyways, you're going to have to help me with this name, Lowery, here. It's our next Elder Dragon.
Vivictus Ismati the Dyer.
Okay. And this is 3 black, red, and green. Another Elder Dragon. It's a 6/6 flying. When that guy attacks, for each player, VA. For each player, choose target permanent that player controls. That player sacrifices those permanents. Each player who sacrificed a permanent this way reveals the top card of their library. Then they put that onto the battlefield if it's a permanent. It doesn't say if it's not a permanent, but it does. But I'm assuming it just goes in the graveyard.
No. It goes on top of your...
Oh, is it? Each player who...
You reveal it.
Oh, it is a reveal. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
you're
So
revealing
if it is... you're right.
If it's a permanent, goes into play. If not, just goes back to your... Now, there are some really cool things. I love this card and the design of it. I know some people are going to hate on it because they want, like, trample or haste or something. But it's based off of attack triggers. So... I just burped. If you get multiple attack triggers in a turn, you can do it a bunch of times. If you have something that allows you to stack the top of your deck, like a Worldly Tutor or Sensei's Divining Top, you can get a permanent on top automatically.
Yeah,
and
because it does say you can do it to yourself as well, which is nice. And it's
you're getting rid of
it's a permanent, so you can get rid of lands if you wanted to as well.
That's also very true.
Yeah,
I think it's very similar card to like a Chaos Warp, only the card's not being shoveled in. Mm-hmm. So it's just like destroying it. I love this card. I think it's really awesome.
It is pretty badass.
And then so Nicol Bolas and Vivictus Asmati are both the original Elder Dragon Highlander dragons that were they used to be 8 mana.
I didn't realize that. Which one was? Well, I guess it was the green, red, and
so he
black
was John,
one.
and so in I would expect the other 3 to be out there.
So
Arcade Sabbath and Chromium.
Chromium. Yeah. That's the one I liked a lot when it was.
And then there's one other. I really should do.
Was
more
this the one with the
garbage
picture where it was just the head that looks like a lizard? Or
I think so.
Yeah, I didn't like
it looked
that
like
picture.
A trout.
Yeah, it totally did.
Well, and I mean, Nicol Bolas looks completely different from his.
Oh yeah, he was sitting in a chair reading a book.
You're like, I'm a smart, nerdy dragon, and that's how he turned into Planeswalker.
Beat it, nerd.
But now he looks like a Chinese-inspired, kind of cool-looking dragon.
Yeah.
So they hipsterized him. I
think.
They
hipster.
So, but I think he looks awesome.
Damn you millennials!
Like the flip of him being a planeswalker, he's just like, look at the fuck this is right here. I'm a planeswalker. This is amazing.
You and your swearing, Lowery.
I know. I'm excited.
I can tell by your pants. All right, so we got a reprint.
This is a card that I would highly suggest going out and getting. It's a very good white card. Mentor of the Meek. 2 colorless, 1 white, 2/2. Whenever another creature enters the with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 and you get to draw a card.
So you can do that with tokens and all that stuff.
Generally get to be 1/1s or 2/2 knights or whatever in white. Yeah, it's a solid card. Very good card draw.
Good draw engine. And then we have Sarah's Guardian, 4 and 2 white, flying vigilance. Other creatures you control have vigilance, which is pretty sweet.
I think that's good enough. As a 5/5
and she's a 5/5
for 6, I think that's a decent card.
Yeah.
That's about all I got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably good in like Angel Tribal or.
Yep. Well, and the nice thing is it doesn't say specifically angels, so you could do anything.
Yeah.
Gets the vigilance, but and then
can we skip those 2 cards?
You know, I kind of. It'd be nice if this card. Well, go ahead and read it.
You want me to do Patient Rebuilding?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's an enchantment. 3 colorless, 2 blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard. Then you draw a card for each land card put into the graveyard this way.
So my tweak to this would have been if it was anytime a card they discarded, then this would be good.
You mean milled?
Yeah. Anytime that a land went in there, then that would be pretty sweet. But yeah, garbage still.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I can move my tweaks to everything.
Each opponent mills 3, and then you get to draw.
Actually, until you were just reading it right now, I thought that it was.
Yeah, no. It's just one
opponent.
It's 3 cards. It's not good.
Larry, why didn't we skip reading this card?
Do you want to talk about the big mana war now? God.
All right, then we got Riddlemaster Sphinx, 4 and 2 blue, flying 5/5. When Riddlemaster enters the battlefield, you may return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Blah.
Yeah. So it's a big mana war.
Yeah.
Mana war is 2 colorless, blue, 2/2. I'd much rather have that card.
Yeah, then it's 6 and a 5/5. Well, 6 and 5/5 is nice, but just bounce. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. So full art here, though.
Yeah, full art, Death Baron. So probably a game day promo. It's Death Baron's a reprint from Shards of Alara. Awesome card. 1 colorless, 2 black. Zombie Wizard, 2/2. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and Death Touch.
Very nice. That's a good card.
It's a solid card. It's been.
I like that full art in that.
It's
been
like
pretty
$15
sweet.
to $20 for a really long time. This reprint is needed.
Yeah,
and it's a great card for zombies and I guess skeletons.
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah.
You got some? All those Drudge skeletons running around.
This one, Demon of what is that?
Catastrophes.
Oh, it is catastrophe. Gosh, I haven't actually seen that word, I don't think, spelled in a very long time. Demon of Catastrophes, 2 and 2 black. It is a demon 6/6. As an additional to its casting it, sacrifice a creature. It has flying and trample as well. So for 4 for a 6/6 flying trample, you just sacrifice a little
really
dinky
like
thing.
this card.
Yeah, this I can see being used quite a bit. I actually built that a couple decks. Not couple. That one deck where it was mainly off of having 1 casting cost black creatures, and then you sacrifice 3 creatures to make that 9/9 demon and all that. Yeah. So this is, I think, even better because you just have to sacrifice 1 creature and you get this badass.
He's a beast. Yeah. That's at 4 mana for a 6/6. Well worth sacrificing a creature if you have a like he could work in my Krav and Regina deck. Mm-hmm. I call her Regina because we're friends.
You can go by short name basis there.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, it's Regna. I know.
Regina.
Yeah, that's the real name I can say. Do you want me to talk about
It just reminds me of Martin. Do you remember the show?
I remember Martin, the show, but I don't remember.
I think Regina was his girlfriend or whatever.
All right.
Trust you.
I'll believe you.
Well, you got to read this one because it's a bird spirit.
Yeah.
Return. It's 4 and 2 black. Go ahead.
Am I reading it or you?
I'm helping you out.
It's a 5/5 flying bird spirit, and you can pay 5 colorless and 2 black to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Awesome.
How? How is that awesome?
You can pay that multiple times and do multiple creatures in one turn.
How much mana do you have?
Can't I have infinite?
No. Probably not.
I think it's so sweet. No, I don't know. It's
a lot of work.
It's a bird spirit. I'm gonna make my tribal bird spirit deck now.
It's awesome with Cabal Coffers, and yeah, everything's awesome with Cabal Coffers. So get over it. Like you can do a lot with that, and it's your graveyard. If it was somebody else's, maybe I could agree with you a little bit more.
Yeah, but you can do everybody.
Right now, 7 mana. I would much rather be winning games with 7 mana.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So. Liliana's Spoils, 3 and 1 black. Target opponent discards a card. That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
Awful.
Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a black card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Awful.
For 4 mana.
It's bad.
It would be nice if it would say any card, but it has to be specifically a black card that you have to reveal.
Sure. And also, the opponent discards the card. You don't get to choose, and you don't get to see their hand. For 4 mana, that is, in my opinion, not enough value.
Go on to the next card.
All right.
More dragons.
This one's pretty sweet. I get the cool dragons. I like that. Lathless Dragon Queen, and that she is. 4 colorless, 2 red, 6/6 flyer. Whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. And then you can pay a colorless and a red. Dragons you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Not just a dragon, all dragons.
So here's your
She is amazing.
Your what do you call it? The power level, how that's changed from when we were playing Magic.
Sure.
The next card is Shivan Dragon, and this used to be the ultimate dragon. Now this is the same amount of mana cost, and it's a flying. It's 4 2 red.
If you don't know this card,
yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's. It's kind of funny to compare the two though, because you're being a douche now. But it's tap 1, Shivan Dragon gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Compared to the same exact mana cost, this is a bigger creature, a 6/6. You get more dragons. If you play dragons, all dragons get +1/+0. It's kind of funny to see the different power level. Yeah.
That's really good rare.
Yeah. So that was my spoiler. Why don't you move on to the next one, Lowery? It wasn't really.
Do you want to count Shivan Dragon as your reading?
Okay, I'll go.
Or you're just trying to get out of reading, or are you trying to read? You can, if you want, do.
No, that's all right. I'll do aggressive mammoth.
Rex.
That one's so basic though. Aggressive mammoth. It is. There's no other thing about it. It's just 5 and a 10/10. That's all it is.
5 green.
Yeah. But aggressive mammoth is what I'm going to talk about. So I kind of spoiled that one for you. And
you're already done.
3 and 3 green. This is an elephant. It has trample. Other creatures you control have trample. And it's an 8/8. You think we're going to get one for each color?
Yeah. You got the white and you got the green, I'm sure.
We're going to haste.
Flying. Haste, flying.
Let me think. What do we got? Black left?
Black.
Death touch?
No.
Swamp walk? No, they wouldn't do that.
So.
What are we going to predict for black? Menace?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. That's Menace. What I would say. It's probably shade.
Shadow, you mean?
No,
Or you're saying it's going to be a shade.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if it gave it all your creatures shadow. You can't
Yeah.
block anything anymore, and they can't block you. I just killed myself. Or maybe one.
All right, you heard Adam talk about Gigantosaurus. So I will move on. It's cool. It's a 10/10 for 5 green. I'm going to talk about.
But it makes it so you can play whatchamacallit, one of your specs from a few weeks ago that costs less for the power to cost 2 instead of it's 10.
Yeah.
Because it would be 10 less.
Ghalta, Primal Hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a 12 mana for a 12/12 trample.
And this is going to be in standard and all that. With both of them together. Think about that. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. It'll make that one really cheap.
I'm thinking. I'm going to do Vivian's Invocation.
I actually kind of like this card.
I don't. It's 5 mana.
I said kind of.
5 colorless and 2 green. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them into the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When a creature is put into the battlefield this way, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So
I guess it could be better. I thought I liked it when we were reading the spoilers a lot more, but I think that was one of the better cards that was revealed when they first spoiled.
This is like the Vivian's middle ability. Like you're half fighting with a creature, but you're able to put a creature into play. Like maybe if you're playing Gigantosaurus, that's fine, but like I think in Commander you can whiff real bad on this.
1/1.
I would love.
Damn it.
I would love to pay 7 and get nothing. I can see that totally happening, and like, and it's again paying 7 mana. You got to be doing something really powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get a 1/1 or a 2/2, like
unless you're playing a big creature deck, but your big creature deck you need to have your mono ramps and stuff like that, so you might not even.
Sure. Yeah. Like you might not even need it. Like I was thinking maybe it'd work in like. Mael the Anima.
Which one is that?
She's from Shards of Alara, but you could pay 3 colorless, green, red, white, tap her, reveal top maybe 5 cards, and then you can put a creature of power 6 or converted mana cost of 6 or more into play. And so like you're gonna have high converted mana cost through your deck more than an efficient deck, and so this might work in that. So, but again, that's pretty niche.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Last rare that has been revealed is Desecrated Tomb. This one's interesting though. I feel like they're trying to do something here with three.
Something bad.
It's an artifact. It costs 3 to come out. Whenever one or more creature cards. I don't like the one or more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 black bat creature with flying. Dang that! If it would have just said whenever a creature leaves the battlefield, it'd be a lot better.
Leaves your graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's okay. It would be nice to like reanimate your entire graveyard and get a bunch of 1/1 bats with it, or even if somebody went to destroy, like that would be a nice comeback if somebody's removing graveyards. And they're like, remove your graveyard. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to get a bunch of bats. This way you get a bat.
You know what's not terrible with this is with Scavenging Ooze.
Sure.
Because you can remove it at one time. You're gaining life, gaining a bat, whatever, all that stuff. Scavenging Ooze would be kind of interesting with that.
Yeah, but it's your graveyard.
Yeah,
so
you're removing your own stuff. You don't need to, if you're not needing to bring it back, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
You want to be hating
Don't
on
give me a
else.
stink eye. Don't give me the stink eye.
I'm giving your computer, your dim computer, the stink eye. I just...
All right, let's move on to the three uncommons, one uncommon, no, 2 uncommons we're going to talk about.
Militia Bugler, 2 colorless and a white for 2/3 vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, you can look at the top 4 cards of your library and put power of 2 or less, a creature of power 2 or less, into your hand.
And put the rest on the bottom in a random order. They're all about that random order now.
Right now, yeah.
They don't want you to stack your bottom.
I like big butts.
It fits very well. I think that's a pretty decent card. There's a lot more.
We have a Reclamation Sage reprint, which is solid. Reliquary Tower.
Yep, that word.
That's
a very good reprint.
Go get this, kids. It's solid.
Yeah. So,
have it in your collection.
Those are the few uncommons right now. There's a bunch of uncommons that they revealed, but those are the ones that we were thinking that would actually matter.
Keep scrolling. Maybe. Well, you're going really fast.
Well, I think that's all we need to talk about. So we're actually running out on time here too. So we're not running out, but we're already at 40 minutes, and we have to do your deck tech. So we have to do this freaking quick here. All right. So on to Pete on deck tech Commander Lowery
for Battlebond. Yeah. So I have chosen Krav the Unredeemed, which is 4 colorless black. It's a 3/3, and you partner with Regna. But you can pay, its ability is 1 black, sacrifice X creatures, target player draws X cards and gains X life, put X 1/1 counters on Krav the Unredeemed.
So,
and I centered my deck around Krav a bit more.
Okay, since we're limited on a lot of time, and actually Larry's gonna have this deck posted online, so we're not gonna go through his whole deck, but I kind of want to get an idea of what's the main idea of the deck then? What you said, it's more on Krav.
More on Krav, which is sacrificing
some of the
creatures.
Key cards.
So when I want to sacrifice creatures, I want to still have value getting out of that, and that's a big thing. And we'll go through the packages real quick that we have, and then the other commander is Regna the Redeemer, Regina, which is 5 colorless and a white for a 4/4 flyer, and then at the beginning of each end step, if your team gained life this turn, create 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. So that feeds into Krav as well. That and it's really important in your life gain to have it be able to. For you to be able to gain life on your turn or on the opponent's turn. So if you're just like gaining a ton of life doesn't necessarily matter. It's just gaining the incremental value at all times.
Yeah.
And so we can go...
And you get a lot of value with Krav being able to sacrifice creatures and draw cards and gain life. And he gets big. That's pretty sweet. I like the 2. And you got these as foil because this was your... Battlebond when we open those packs.
Yeah, the pre-release.
Yeah.
So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have like 9 life gain cards, and I think there's others in there as well. But the main ones are there.
I like this 3. This first one actually. This is kind of a spec I might be using at some point, but the foils of these guys. But anyways, was it Kambal?
Yeah, Kambal.
Console of Allocation, and this is 1 in white and black. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So that's pretty sweet.
So
It's a 2/3.
When somebody else casts a non-creature spell, you're gaining life probably on their turn.
And then you got Auroric Champion.
Yep, and so that's just
2 white.
When somebody has a creature come into play, you gain a life, and
This is I like
when
that.
people, that's that increment of value, and you have other cards that are very similar to that.
Yep. And then you got Sun Drop It, which we talked about last week, actually, as one of your specs.
Yeah, and that's it's also an incremental. It's always so that'll just probably happen on everybody else's turn.
So if you don't remember that Sun Droplet, it's whenever you take damage, you put that many counters on it, and then every upkeep you remove a counter and gain a life. So then that gets you your 1/1 dudes from your commanders. So that I see that working really well. Then what do we get into? These guys, or are we going into your mana?
I was going to skip those. So the mana ramp.
Oh that makes sense to have. So Black Market is what Lowery has in there. It's an enchantment, 3 and 2 black. Whenever a creature dies, you put a counter on Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add 1 black for each counter that it has on it. That's really good, even with you're sacrificing your stuff.
It's a good card, but then when you're sacrificing your stuff on purpose to get this ahead of you, and then you're drawing all those cards with Krav, the next turn you have enough mana to be able to use it. And then the only one, there's one other one I think
Thought
is
Vessel. Yeah, I have this going in my deck too. And Thought Vessel is just a good card in general to have in a lot of decks.
Because I found myself having 10, 15 cards in hand with Krav drawing me a ton of cards, and then I'm just like, well, I don't want to
Thought
keep
Vessel
discarding.
is 2. It's makes it so you have no maximum hand size, but then it also generates 1 colorless mana for you. So that's pretty good value for 2. And I mean that's a very good card.
It's.
I don't know if we ever talked about that in our core cards for Commander for artifacts, but that I would put back.
I think
it should be in there if it isn't in there.
Glossed over it with mana rocks.
Yeah. So. And then what do we want for our next section?
The next grouping that I have is creature recursion.
So you have the
Athreos,
God of Passage, 1 white, 1 colorless, and 1 black. Indestructible 5/4 as long as its devotion is white or whatever. You don't really have to worry about it being a creature. The main part is when another creature you own. It's kind of funny it says that. Whenever another creature you own, not control, I don't know, you don't see that very often, return it to your hand unless an opponent pays 3 life. So it won't work with the tokens, but everything else.
Sure, yeah. Yes. Whenever you're having one of your creatures go to the graveyard, you have them, if they want it to go back to your hand so that you keep getting value, or they're starting to lose a bunch of life. And then the thing that was trying to do was just the other 2 really kind of cool cards there are Cauldron Haze, which is hybrid black-white colorless, and then it can give all of my creatures persist. I can persist them, sacrifice all of them, they come back, and if they die again, generally they're going to leave another token on the battlefield. And then Thrilling Encore was something that I was trying to try out, but also...
Yeah, that's also from Battlebond, which is kind of cool. We brought in another Battlebond card. I like that card. I'm interested to see how that works in this and everything.
So, in Thrilling Encore... Ooh.
It's 4 and 1 black. It's an instant. Put onto the battlefield under your control all creature cards and all graveyards that were put there from the battlefield this turn.
Yeah, and so if somebody goes in Wraths and then you cast this, so it has extra value within it as well.
Taking their creatures. That's just
that's
brutal.
That also works with some of the cards that I have that I'll talk about later. And so that's what I was hoping for, was to get low mana cost creatures into play and then value out with Krav and then recast. Because you can easily go Thrilling Encore after sacrificing all of your creatures because it's just 1 black. And then you bring them all back and you almost are able to do it again and draw a ton of cards, gain a ton of life.
Nice. Is that it from that package?
Yeah.
You have some more sack stuff in there.
So protection, as everybody should have and use. That's my health PSA for the day.
Nice.
I have 6 different types.
We do have condoms
protection.
on all these cards.
But the one card that I really kind of wanted to highlight was Bastion Protector.
It's 2 colorless, a white commander creatures you control or have 2/2 and have indestructible, and it's a 3/3.
And I really like these cards. There's a red one that gives haste, but they're really good when it comes to partner commanders.
Yeah,
because it's protecting more than just the one card.
That's a good idea. Mother of Ruins is another one that you have in there.
Mother of Ruins I love, so I put that in just about every white deck if it works.
Yep. And then you got your Lightning Greaves, Swift Boots, and Grand Abolisher. I like it. Always got to have protection. You never know what's out there.
And then
Stids.
Some removal. I have like 8 different types of removal, but the 2 that like I'd like to focus on is like Martyr's Bond.
That is 4 colorless, 2 white. Whenever Martyr's Bond or another non-land permanent you control is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a permanent that shares the card type with it. That's pretty sweet.
And so like with sacrificing creatures, other people's creatures are going to go away. That's pretty similar to like...
Or if they destroy your enchantment, you're going to destroy other enchantments, which is pretty sweet. And then I always like this card, Urborg Justice, because it can really... People can get stuff backfired in their face, but it's 2 black, instant. Target opponent chooses and buries, which really is sacrifices, a number of creatures he or she controls equal to the number of creatures put into graveyard that's into play, or from your graveyard from play this turn. So you're sacrificing your own stuff, and then you go, oh, guess what? You get to sacrifice just as many.
Sacrifice a ton. Oftentimes, I have Dictate of Veripos in there as well. Like, and generally a lot of other generic answers, which I've talked about in the past. Like, I like to try and make sure that I have answers to a lot of things, so it's worth so over cost. Like Utter End is worth it in my mind in the deck. Yeah. So and Vindicate is really nice and stuff like that. So removal
creatures with death triggers.
Yeah. So that was the big thing. I want creatures that have a death trigger,
so when they actually die, they do something that benefits you. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so the biggest one, and why I kind of picked one of my specs,
Hangarback Walker, and this is an XX. Basically what you do is you got to pay that. It gets that many 1/1 counters. When it dies, for how many counters it has, 1/1 counters it has on it, you put a 1/1 color Stopter onto the battlefield with flying. You can also tap 1 and tap it to give it a 1/1 counter. So Hangarback is pretty sweet. It's not only used in EDH and stuff, but Modern uses it a lot as well.
Yeah, it's gaining steam as just a really solid card. And some other ones, just throwing them out there, is like Zathrid Necromancer, which creates 2/2 zombies when humans die, and I seem to have a bunch of humans. Like another one that's really cool is Ashen Rider, especially if you can bring it back and forth. And whenever that comes into play, you get to exile a non-land permanent, I believe. It might just be any permanent. And so when it comes into battlefield or leaves, you get to just keep on doing it a ton. And then Kakusho, the Evening Star, is amazing, especially in...
Wait, which one was the one you were just talking about before? The
Ashen
Rider? I don't see that in there. It's not in there. You're a liar, Lowery.
No. I don't lie. Might be in my removal package.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, so I like you have Pawn of Ulamog in there. Okay. Oh yeah, I did see that over there.
Pawn of Ulamog will allow whenever a creature you control goes to the graveyard, you get to put an 0/1 into play. It just, and then you can sacrifice that Eldrazi Spawn for if you have Martyr's Bond out, and you can really control the creature game with what I have going on. And then just to supplement it a little bit, I have creatures when they enter the battlefield, they just create tokens, so that kind of value. There's not a ton because I tried to focus more on the graveyard triggers, and so
I mean that makes more sense because you're actually doing that. You're sacrificing your stuff. You're trying to get use out of actually sacrificing your stuff.
I think the one that I really like in this deck is Endrick Sar,
Master Breeder,
yes,
Master Breeder.
You're a master breeder.
I'm the master at it. 4 and 1 black. It's a 2/2 legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever you cast a spell, put X/1/1 black throw creature tokens on the battlefield, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. When you control 7, you sacrifice him. So you're just sacrificing those
so that you don't ever sacrifice them pretty much with Krav in play. And so you should never really get over 7.
Yeah, that's a good value out of that.
And
that's
it
really
always
good.
gets you, and then just some solid utility cards would be... I have some easy like recursion creatures as well in here. Like, I'll just read them real quick. Reassembling Skeleton, Bloodghast, Nether Trader. They're cheap, and then they can come back really easy. And so we can just kind of skip that part. And some really nice utility, like we talked about last week, with like Sanguine Bond.
And then Defiant Bloodlord.
They basically, if you ever gain life...
Oh, you put in Anointed Procession. Nice.
Yeah.
sense.
There's a lot of token creation. Anointed Procession is whenever a token comes into play under your
Parallel
control,
lives, but it's
double
white.
And then the other one that I talked about last week was Haramat's Archive, which allows you to draw more cards and gain more life off of Krav.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the basic gist right there. And I do.
So have you run through this deck? Have you ran it a couple times?
Yeah, and I have changed things even from the when I listed it on Tapped Out, but I burped again.
Beer burp.
It feels really powerful with Krav.
How's its speed? Like getting everything out, your mono rocks and all that?
It felt slow, and so that's where some of the changes came in, was just like cutting some of the lower cast creatures to make sure that I got some ramp in there, because Regina's kind of expensive for what it does. Like, you want to be gaining that incremental life gain, but it's not a whole ton, because Regina, whenever you gain life, you put 2 1/1s into play. Mm-hmm. But that's at 6 mana, and so if you're that's kind of getting in the late game a little bit. So if you go, you almost want to go like Krav with 6 mana, and so because he only costs 5, so that you get that value out of him. You don't really want to play him at 5 mana,
because if he gets wiped out, you want him to actually do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you go Regna the next turn, and then so you should have 7 mana. Then you can do at least one activation with Krav to gain that life to get the 2 1/1s somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of chain them together a little bit like that, but you really get that. Krav is awesome in card draw, and it feels really.
It looks
consistent.
really powerful. It'd be interesting with big games when we get 4 people in.
Yeah, and
see how it goes.
And we did talk about like our decks, and I was just like, I definitely have like 2 weaknesses. And Adam's playing them both. Before, he was like, "Oh, I was gonna do this, this, and this," and I'm like, "Shit."
And you're like, "Well, at least you didn't have this other one." And I was like, "What is the other one?" And you're like, "This," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have 4 or 5 of those in the deck."
I was just like, "Damn it!"
Because my deck is we'll talk about my deck next week. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I like that. I think it's gonna be very powerful. I'm very curious to see how it goes with a big 4-person game.
I think it'd be a lot. I think it's going to be better in a 4-person game than it is 1-on-1 with a red-blue deck.
How fun was it to build?
I really enjoyed kind of digging around, trying to. There are like a bunch of cheaper cards that when they die you get, like Doom Traveler and Doom Dissenter. Like just seeing those cards, and you're like, well, it was kind of fun digging around and looking for those interactions.
And now compared to your other Pedon commander, where does it sit, you think? I guess you won't know until you play it. But building wise,
I have to really play it. Muldrotha was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Krav and Regina are pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to keep them, though. So, we'll see after we play them.
Nice. Well, that was a Commander Spotlight, Mr. Pedon.
Krav and Regina.
Nice. Now we move on to our third and final segment of the week. Smith Specs of the Week.
That was pretty good.
Nice. I'll start off this week. I think you started last week. Okay. Actually, it's a bunch of cards. I don't think
it's a competition.
Yeah, let's just switch off back and forth. Got to switch. Okay. Can't use the right hand every time. You got to use the left sometimes.
Call that the stranger.
No, it's when you sit on it until your hand goes numb.
I don't know any of these.
Anyways, my first spec is actually from Battlebond. It's all the Battlebond lands from when we actually opened our box a week ago. They've already risen $1 or more, and the only reason I'm saying these right now is because these are gonna be used in every single freaking commander deck that uses these colors. There is no downfall for commander. For any other format, you're going to have a downfall because you're 1v1, but this is whenever you have 2 or more players, opponents, it doesn't tap when it comes into play. So the only downfall I see is it doesn't have the basic land types on them. And I'm saying going for the regulars because the foils are at 20 plus. So I want the foils to go down, but I don't think they're going to go below 20. Yeah, so I would say these might stay around the 6 range for a little bit, but I could totally see these spiking sooner rather than later because commander players are going to buy these all up. But there is, I don't know how well Battlebond is selling.
I think
that's my thing.
I
don't
do
know.
agree that they're really good lands, and especially in multiplayer Commander.
Beer burp.
I'm burping again. I don't know what my deal is. Apologize.
And you do it like into the mic. You're like, doesn't even try to hide it.
So, but like, I generally stick with my rule. I think this is probably a shorter window because I think it's going to be opened a lot less. Because it really is focused on a crowd. Like, Core Set 2019 is coming out here pretty soon. They're all,
which is awesome. It's an awesome set. I'm just kidding.
Have you been paid by Wizards? I want to see some of that money if you want to get on that hype train. But like Core Set 2019, even though it doesn't look spectacular to me, it's already taking steam away from Battlebond. They didn't even let Battlebond breathe.
Yeah.
How'd you know I was going to say that?
I don't know, because that was in my mind. But here's my thing with this is you get in right now at $5, $5.50. They're not going to go. I mean, if they go lower than $5, it's not going to stay there very long, and this is going to be a $10 to $15 card.
Yeah,
within a year or two, this is going to be this. And when they come out with the other ones, I don't know how they're going to do that, but we
could do Battlebond 2 next year.
Oh yeah, Conspiracy 2. Yeah, they might do that.
Oh, they already have Conspiracy.
Well, no, so I'm using that as an example. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, but these are going to be $10 plus cards at some point because this is going to be used in every Commander deck, and it's only a matter of. I mean, they're going in all my Commander decks.
Yeah, they're really good. I highly suggest at least going out and getting one.
Yeah,
and just
I'm hoping that the foils come down because I want the foil copies of these. I want the foils to drop down to 10 and then pick those up at $10 a piece.
And I have my general rule about a new set coming out.
Yeah.
Generally, I want to wait until 4 to 6 weeks after. But they don't generally spoil something so soon after, like Battlebond coming out 1 week with, it's like 3 days later they're spoiling Core 19 cards, and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Well, and I agree with your rule of thumb with everything. The only thing with these is they're very Commander driven. Like this is meant for basically Commander. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. It just seems like it's a Commander card, and so Commander players are the most. Like we've talked about many times, they're what drives a lot of the business. I mean, it's their money maker.
Prices.
And so if Commander players are realizing, hey, this is perfect. It's just it's the next best thing to having a dual land. They're gonna buy these up like crazy. Like you made the example in that video. I think we talked about in the dueling boxes where that guy went in to your local store and bought
every single one of them.
Yeah, and the guy was like, I should have put these at 20. Not that they'll be at 20 right now, but that's what he was saying is that he should put the price a little higher.
They might be undervalued at this point.
And I mean, it's only $1. That's it. Right when they come out, it varies a lot in the price and everything, but they're not going to get any lower than. I mean, they might get a little lower, but they're not going to stay.
Yeah, it really does just kind of depend on how much products actually opened.
Yeah,
and it's hard to tell. I know that supplies were limited at the card store that we played at.
Yeah,
like you only got 6 boxes. And when
I'd be curious, I wish they would tell us how much they sold and all that. But anyway, so I'm saying all 5 of those, pick those up. If you just want just a play set to buy where they're under $10, buy them for $5 right now. That would be the one I would buy those right now before they. Like I said, I can easily see in the next year and a half those being $10, $15 cards. So double up, triple up. Anyways, Lowery, you're first.
Mine, we talked about it during my deck tech, but Hangarback Walker. Is
this a burping episode? Like what the hell, Mr. Gas? Just and you don't even turn your head. You like actually go. So I'm gonna funnel it right at the microphone. Just, there's like a mute button on this too.
Stinky.
At least they can't smell it through whatever they're listening through
for Father's Day.
Oh man! All right.
So it's XX.
Well, we already described what that one does.
Yeah,
but
you can pay 1, tap it, put a 1/1 counter on it. It's very good card, solid.
When it dies, you get it that many 1/1 files.
I have 4 of them, and I'm pretty sure I have 4 in different decks. They're all over the place.
So you're thinking just the regulars right now?
I think regular and the foil are both worth buying at this point.
Regulars are $4, foils are $10. So yeah, I agree with that.
I think they're both solid cards to go and buy.
Yeah, it's a good good EDH card, good everything card.
Yeah.
My next card is another one from Battlebond, but I'm more focused on the foils of these, but it's Seedborn Muse. You could actually buy the regulars if you wanted to, because it's the cheapest you've ever seen. Seedborn Muse. I almost burped into the microphone.
Starting a trend.
But the Seedborn Muses regulars are at 8. Your foils are actually sitting at, what do we got? The foils were at 26. So you look at all the other printings, yes, granted, those are a lot less printings of those, are open boxes and older. They're at 50 plus. Some you have the original at 82. But foils aren't going to move a ton over time, and it depends on how much the box is open. But Seedborn Muse, I'm almost saying if you want a copy of a really good card for pretty relatively cheap, this could drop down to maybe $6 when it's all said and done. I bet you could pick these up for $7.50 right now. So save yourself.
This card will recover.
Yeah. So whatever you buy in right now, you're gonna double up, triple up, whatever.
It'll be a $15 to $20 card in a couple years.
But like Lowery said, you might be able to actually wait a month or two on this and then buy in, and it'll be $1 cheaper. But if you want to use it in your deck right now, and it's a freaking amazing card, buy it, and you're not going to be sorry that you bought it, because you're not going to lose out on money. So that's my other one. Lowery, your second pick
is Detention Sphere, which is a colorless, a white and a blue enchantment. When Detention Sphere enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent.
Except you can't name Detention Sphere.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I thought you did on purpose.
I did. So it's a token killer. It hits anything. You can fake burp. You don't have to that's like a gag.
That's a kid
what's
burp.
Your deal? So this is a really good card. I think it should be played quite a bit. It's a good token killer. I'm just gonna keep on saying it's a really good card.
It's a really good card.
And then it doesn't
regulars
matter.
Or foils though, you think? Only one printing of this too.
Yeah, only one printing.
Foils just jumped recently. They were at 6 and they're at 12.
I'd probably wait a little bit more on it, but again, I think the card's going to go up, because from what I'm going to say, it's a really good card. Return to Ravnica is, we know that we're going back to Ravnica as well in the fall. So you might get something that's similar to this, or
a reprint possibly.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
They generally don't do that.
Yeah.
But it might, now that I'm thinking about it, might not be a bad one to invest in after they release.
See when once they do it. But I mean, it's $2 right now if you're doing the regulars. Foils you might want to hold, because those just jumped too. That's the hard part. They were down to 6, then they hopped up to 17. They're coming down now. You could probably wait a little bit longer on that, and like Lowery said, wait until you see if they don't release in Ravnica. Then I'd go for the foils.
Then I don't think it'll be reprinted.
Yeah, I like that card. It's very good. Like you said, removing tokens and stuff.
It's just really good.
It's a really good card.
It just takes care of everything.
Yeah. My next one is actually like a buy now pick. I would say if you hear this podcast and you go on there, this might be different pricing than what I'm telling you right now, but Treasure Map from Ixalan, the foils, the regular, not the promos, just the regular, because the promo ones, the pre-release promo ones, they're already 15, where you can pick. I actually picked up a bunch of these, like 4 copies of them for $5. The foil ones of the regular, but the regular non-foils are at $5 right now. So it's the same price pretty much as the foil ones.
And it's worth picking up the foils.
Yeah, it's a freaking good card. My kind of side note to this all is if you go on the Lowery's mic is about to fall down.
No, it's not.
Here, I'll hold your mic.
No, we only got like 1 minute left. Let's do this. Let's finish it up.
All right. Well, my side note to everything is the buy-a-box stuff with all of the Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan and all that is something to kind of look into. Not saying to invest. I've been here and there picking up some. Like I bought Growing Rights of Itlamok for $10, and now that's $40 for the buy-a-box. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the buy-a-box stuff, and it's very different art than anything else. I think those, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I've heard rumors that was supposed to be the next inventions, and then they quit doing that. So they just put them in the buy-a-box stuff instead. So, anyways, I think that's what I had at. Yeah, and then it's in one legacy deck. Otherwise, it's in a bunch of standard decks right now.
Yeah, it's in a bunch of standard decks, and it'll probably drop unless it finds
a
home. But it's good enough in. It's going to go up while it's still in standard here.
My thing is pick up right now because this is going to jump to 15 in the next week. 2 weeks.
And then you want to turn around.
Then you sell it as soon as it hits 15.
Because this is rotating in the fall with the Ravnica set.
So
no, it's not.
No, it isn't. No, this stays. Yeah, but
just kidding.
Gotcha, fuckers. But what I'm saying is the regulars are $5. You can buy the foil ones of the regulars for $5-$6. It's $1 more, and you're getting the foil version of it. They're going to jump to 15 because the promo ones. I should
actually sit down and get myself a playset.
Yeah, because the promo pre-release are 15. There's only 2 copies of those left, so those are going to go up too. So I don't know. Lowery, your last pick
is Stoneforge Mystic. This is a Legacy All-Star Banned in Modern, and I suggest going after the Grand Prix promos. They're about $22,
just as expensive as the regular ones.
Yeah, non-foil is going for about $22. And Stoneforge Mystic is amazing. It's a 1/2 and it's colorless and a white. When it enters the battlefield, go find an equipment, put it in your hand, and then you can pay a colorless and a white and tap it to put an equipment from your hand into the battlefield.
Yep, that's a very good card. Got to finish this podcast up with a burp. And that was Lowery's picks.
I feel good. Yeah. No, this card, I think there's going to start becoming a little bit of steam in Modern to unban it. And when that happens, this will go
crazy.
This turns into a $50+ card easily.
All versions.
Yeah.
Regular, this foil, and then the World Wake foil will go to 120.
Yeah, it'll be, if it ever does. So if you're sitting there going like, oh, I don't need it because, it's not played in Modern.
Holy balls face.
It
was at $200 at one point, the World Wake foils.
So it's fallen out of favor in Legacy. Like, it's not as played deck anymore, but it's still a really powerful deck.
This is really good in Commander, especially if you're playing any equipment stuff.
Great in
it's
Commander.
Amazing.
So I highly suggest it if you're playing Commander, get yourself a copy at least. It's very powerful.
I dig it. All right, I think that does it for our Smith Specs of the week in our podcast, actually. So we got to kind of sign off quicker because we're at the same time. I always say we're way over, but it's only 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're way over at the same.
But you're holding your microphone in your hand and doing this.
I'm cradling it because I love it.
So you can catch us on Twitter. I did not give any updates this week because we pretty much stayed the same. There was a scare of me being sick and whatever, not being able to do stuff, but everything worked out all right.
Yeah.
CommanderSmiths on Twitter or
CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
Or you can catch us on YouTube. I think we're going to link this one, right?
I'll put a link in this one for Dueling Boxes underneath the podcast, along with the tapped out for the deck list. And then probably just a link for spoiler page.
Yep. So and then next week we at least know.
Lazy bastards.
We at least know Pete on Commander is going to be mine. Hopefully we have a playthrough by next week, but I'm not sure.
About the power of the decks.
But if we don't play through this week, we'll play through the following week for sure. But we'll at least have we'll play during the week or something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll get this shit figured out. But I think that's pretty much. Oh, we'll probably have more spoilers next week too. The way things are going.
I hope. I'm so excited. Hopefully we get the next 3 Elder Dragons. I'm cool with that.
That'd be really sweet if they did that.
Yeah. If they don't, it's weird and dumb.
Wouldn't it be sweet if they were flip ones too?
Well, they wouldn't be Planeswalkers. I believe the other 4 died in the story, and then Nicol Bolas turned into a Planeswalker. So that's...
There's my Mr. Lowery, the lore guy.
Maybe I'll dig a little bit. And maybe we can talk about that too. But I'm pretty sure Nicol Bolas killed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
took their power. That's why they became super powerful.
Maybe.
Again, that'd be interesting. Research that, and I'd like to talk to you about that next episode. Maybe that's a little segment we talk about.
Mini segment.
You have homework. All right, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.